Okay, good morning, YouTube. It is so lovely for me to be here again. It's been a while. I've been busy. I have been reeling out the weddings. However, I'm asked the same question every single season, at the start, at the end of the season, going into a new year. Why is it so essential to have a wedding planner? And a lot of people have frowned on the idea of having a planner because they feel like it's a luxury. It is something that only the celebrities or the royals or the well-to-do have. However, it is something that is so essential. You just nowadays, with the busyness of life, the busyness of work schedules, having family, other commitments to tend to, business, and just generally, you need guidance from an expert who has navigated this field many times before. And so today I want to just let you know why it is so essential. So can you imagine an orchestra? An orchestra has got to be conducted by a conductor. And you produce at the end of that a symphony that is sweet, melodious, harmonious. Everything is working in sync. And this is, generally speaking, what the idea of having a wedding entails. There are so many components that you need to put together. And essentially, somebody who's gone there before many times will be able to help you to navigate this landscape so that you achieve and bring your dream to life. You only have one go at doing this. You have one day to make it a lasting memory. So let's talk about your sanity. Let's talk about stress. Your stress levels once you've had the engagement, because essentially the guy is the one who's orchestrating your engagement. Once you've had your engagement, once you received your ring, you are in absolute bliss. You are just absolutely in euphoria. So thinking about the wedding is not too far off, but it's not the most immediate thing that you would think of, unless you're a little bit like me, but hey. So once you settle down, then the issue starts of how are we going to do this? I have a separate YouTube video as well as an ebook regarding wedding budgeting, because I believe that everything starts from the budget. How much money do we have to play with? Where are we going to go? Is it going to be abroad? Is it going to be local? How many guests, etc.? And the list unfolds. And then eventually you'll either agree or disagree and come to some sort of amicable agreement, because that's essentially the first decision that you're going to have to make together before you actually tie the knots and walk down the aisle to your nuptials of being happily ever after. So let's talk about stress. Stress is a word that's tossed about quite a lot where weddings are concerned. And I generally say that the stress comes about when it comes to the bill paying. And it's mainly the guy that is going to be stressed out, and then essentially it spills over to the bride, because this is your day to express your beauty, to express your elegance, to express your uniqueness, to show up to the world and just be absolutely fabulous. And so when you then come to clash about the budget, to clash about money, it seems as if that person is robbing you of what you should be given, rightfully so. And so this is where the stress then starts about. You're stressed about logistics, you're stressed about the timelines, you're stressed about last minute issues, you're stressed about the most expensive bills, i.e. champagne, the venue, hiring of the vendors. And so going back to your planner, she then becomes your emotional BFF. Somebody you can lean on, somebody you can outpour to, somebody who essentially is going to be an expert at problem solving. We have done this time and again. We know what it entails. We know what you guys are going to be going through. We know that it's going to give you sleepless nights. And essentially, when we sit down and we have these meetings and we have these one-to-ones, we talk about the wellness check. We talk about all of the other issues surrounding the wedding, but essentially we want to make sure that you guys are still on course to your happy ever after. That you still want this love as much as you did from the day that you got engaged. So don't let your wedding planning then bring you to a point of arguments, a point of stress, a point of loggerheads, because that is not the whole point of having this wedding. So let's go on to the next thing. When you have somebody who has been in the industry for years, like I have, we are able to speak the language. We are able to communicate with the vendors. We are able to communicate with your venues. We are able to speak to them in such a way that we get the best possible deal for you. Because ultimately, if all the arguments are stemming from money, we want to make sure that we've got a good deal. We got what it was that we were looking for. We got the freebies, we got the throw-ins, and ultimately we are happy and we have negotiated on both sides. So we have our wedding contract in place, we have your money and your budget in place, and everyone is happy. There are no failings in the way of things that are hidden in darkness. Contractually, everything has been discussed. We have gone over all the details. Everything is straightforward, and we have tailored everything towards the vision that you have ultimately and want to achieve. And speaking of vision, we have our Pinterest boards. We have our bridal books. We have our scrapbook. We have the beautiful side of planning, which gives you this dreamy, romantic time to go over the things that you absolutely love, the things that you've dreamed of since your childhood as a girl. And you want to make sure that not only do you have elegance, taste, class, style, that you actually wow the people that are coming for the event, because it is a reflection, an inward reflection as an outward demonstration of who you are. And so that's where we bring your vision to life, whether it's in florals, whether it's in centerpieces, whether it's in the marquee or the tent or the venue, whether it's in bringing in live jazz artists or orchestras or violinists or pianists, whatever it is that you want, we essentially are your go-to to find that thing, to find that person that is gonna make that jigsaw piece of your wedding complete. And so when it comes to paying a planner, we essentially take a percentage fee. We agree on a price. We agree on the hours that we're going to work for you, and whether we're going to be on call or whether we're just going to have weekly meetings or monthly meetings. We agree on what it is that you are expecting from us, your expectations. And we also agree in contractual writing what it is we expect you guys to do. Obviously, we do the full load lifting for you. And we expect you also to be considerate in when you require us. But at the same time, we also understand that you have afforded yourselves the luxury of having something that's no longer a luxury and now a necessity and an essential, to make sure that the planning process for your biggest day is going to run seamlessly and smoothly. This is so essential. I mean, I cannot even begin to tell you the amount of things that go wrong. Seriously, the amount of things that go wrong on a wedding day because someone did not have a planner, a focal point, a go-to person, the one that has been delegated, the one that has the running list, the one that knows the program, the one that can communicate to the groom and to the groomsman, best man, as well as communicate to the bride, the bridesmaids and the maid of honor. And without stressing it too much, There is no day that goes quicker in your whole life than your wedding day. Your labor for your baby will last forever, but your wedding day will go in the blink of an eye. And if that being said, you want to savor every single moment of that day. You want to make sure that you enjoy that day. You don't want people coming up to the top table every 2 minutes going, oh my God, whereabouts are the knives? Whereabouts are the extra napkins? Whereabouts can we find the excess champagne? The kitchen say they don't have 16 boxes. I don't understand. And we can't find your air tickets for the flight out for your honeymoon tomorrow. So it's things like this that will cause you to go into a panic whirlwind, right? And that will rob and steal you of your joy. And that is the last thing that you want. You want this day to be a lasting memory. You want this day to be full of happy moments when you're taking your photographs, when you're doing your toast, when you're saying your speeches, when you're giving your vote of thanks. You want to make sure that your first dance is a dance that you will savor, and that every anniversary, when you play that song or you take it to that restaurant, she remembers that the wedding day was one of the most memorable and magical days of her life. So, wrapping it up, your planner should be equipped to negotiate with your vendors, from your venue, from your budget, your contracts. Your planner should be able to be on hand and attentive. She will be able to work behind the scenes on the wedding day. She will be able to negotiate with the experts within your field and within the industry. She will be able to be like a magician, pull out a rabbit from a hat when you have things go wrong on the day. Most times, people think that they have the energy, they think that they have the mental capacity to handle planning. And alongside your weight loss program, going on the hen do bachelorette parties, planning your gift list, choosing cars, choosing swatches, color arrangement, florals, your wedding dress, fittings, you really, honestly, you really should spare yourself all of the other crazy details that are going into this planning. It is a joyous occasion. There's going to be plenty of crying, plenty of tears. It'll be emotional. But if you want to make sure that your day is seamless, you don't want your wedding to run like a horror disaster. Yeah? You don't want to forget the rings. You don't want to uninvite guests. Yeah? Because you didn't take the time to check the RSVPs, to check the numbers that are coming in. You don't want to have bland food because you forgot to tell the chef that you wanted extra seasoning on the chicken. You want to make sure that everything, every single detail to the very last has been covered through your communication with your personal assistant, i.e. your wedding planner. So without further ado, I am going to tell you this. It is essential. Get your planner today. There is a link down below for my website if you are requiring my services for Lewis Jordan events. There are different tariffs. And if this doesn't meet your tariff and you're on a meager budget, we can still have a discussion. We offer a free consultation, which is 30 minutes. We'll have a chat about what it is that you have covered so far, what aspects you want. We offer a service that is three-tiered. So we do planning, we do venue dressing, as well as coordinating on the day if you've already found your vendors. because essentially we live and breathe weddings, and we want you guys to have an amazing day, because at the end of the day, love is what makes the world go round. And if you have love and are in love, then let's celebrate love. Thank you so much. If you have liked this content, please can you hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and I will be pouring out more little nuggets of planning and the wedding essentials in the upcoming days. Take care. This is Pamela Root. And like I said, the link is down in my bio. Have a great day. And happy planning.